Silva Mind Control Method. Chapter 5, Memory Improvement. The memory techniques taught in mind control can reduce our use of telephone directories and incredibly impress our friends. But if I want to know a phone number, I look for it. Maybe some of the mind control graduates do use these formulas to remember phone numbers. But as I said in the previous chapter, desire is important to make things work, and my desire to remember phone numbers is not that important. If I had to cross town every time I needed a phone number, my desire would be fueled. It is basically wrong to use mind control techniques for anything that is not an important matter because of that trilogy: desire, belief, expectation. But how many of us have a memory as effective as we would like it to be? Yours may already be improving in unexpected ways if you have mastered the techniques described in the previous 2 chapters. Your new ability to visualize and relive past events while at the alpha level has some carryover into beta. So your mind may be working in ways that are new to you without any special effort. Still, there is room for improvement. In mind control classes, we have a special visualization exercise. In this exercise, the lecturer writes the numbers from 1 to 30 on the board, and then the students mention names of objects: snowball, skate, glasses, anything that comes to mind. He writes each word next to a number, turns his back to the board, and recites them in order. The students mention any word on the list, and the lecturer gives the corresponding number. This is not a parlor trick, but rather a lecturer lesson memorizing a keyword each number. In this way, a visualization. The previously hey for each number evokes a visual image of its corresponding keyword. We call these images keys to memory. When a student mentions a word, the lecturer combines it in some meaningful or extravagant way with the image he has associated with the keyword number. If the student offers the word snowball, the image could be of a snowball throwing the top hat at my uncle, thus forming images by associating the number, the keyword, and the word written on the board is easy to visualize. The students begin to learn the keys for memory by entering the level while the lecturer repeats them slowly. The more they undertake the task of memorizing them at the beta level, the task becomes easier because the words seem familiar to them. You should skip the memory cues in this book because it would take too much time and space to learn them. You already have a powerful technique to improve your visualization and your memory at the same time. The mental screen. Whatever you think you have forgotten is always associated with an event. If it is a name, the event is the moment you heard or read it. All you have to do, once you have learned to work with your mental screen, is to visualize a past event around an incident that you think you have forgotten. And there it will be. I am talking about an incident that you think you have forgotten, because in reality, he has not forgotten it at all. He just doesn't remember it. There's a significant difference. The world of advertising offers us a familiar illustration of the difference between memory and recollection. All of us watch television commercials. There are so many of them, and they are so brief that if we were asked to make a list of 5 or 10 that we had seen in the last week, we would manage to remember 3 or 4 at most. It is doubtful that we will ever truly forget anything. Our brain hides images of the most trivial events. The more vivid the image is, and the more important it is to us, the more easily we remember it. An electrode gently touching an exposed brain during an operation will cause a long-forgotten event to be remembered in all its details, so vividly that sounds, smells, and scenes will actually be experienced. This happens because you are touching the brain, not the mind. No matter how real the flashbacks that the brain offers to the patient's consciousness may be, he will know, something tells him, that he is not actually reliving them. This is the mind at work, the super observer, the interpreter, and no electrode has ever touched it. The mind, unlike the tip of the nose, does not exist in a specific place. Let's go back to memory. Somewhere, thousands of miles away from where you are sitting, a leaf is falling from a tree. You will not remember this event because you did not experience it, and it is not important to you. However, our brain registers a much greater number of events than we imagine. As you sit reading this book, you are going through thousands of experiences of which you are not aware. He is oblivious to them to the extent that he is concentrating at the moment. There are sounds and smells, images you perceive out of the corner of your eye, perhaps the slight discomfort of a shoe that is too tight, the feel of your chair, the temperature of the room. It seems there's no end. We are aware of these sensations, but we do not realize that we are aware of them, which seems like a contradiction until we think about the case of a woman who was under general anesthesia. During the course of her pregnancy, this woman had established an excellent relationship with her gynecologist. There was friendship and trust between the two. The time for her delivery arrived, and she received general anesthesia, as was routine, and gave birth to a healthy baby. Later, when her doctor visited her in her hospital room, she seemed strangely distant, even hostile toward him. Neither she nor the doctor could explain the change in her attitude, and both were anxious to find some explanation for the case. They decided to try, through hypnosis, to discover some hidden memory that could explain this sudden change. Under hypnosis, she was guided through time regression, from her most recent experience with her doctor to her first experiences with him. They didn't have to go far. In a deep trance, instead of skipping the period when she was unconscious in the delivery room, she recounted everything the doctor and nurses had said. What they commented in the presence of the anesthetized patient was sometimes clinically indifferent. Other times, it was funny. And at other times, they expressed annoyance at the slow progress of her labor. She was an object, not a person. His feelings were not taken into account. He was unconscious after all, wasn't he? I question whether it is possible for us to be unconscious at some point. We may or may not remember what we experienced, but we are always experiencing, and all experiences leave memories firmly imprinted in the brain. Does this mean that with the memory techniques you are about to learn, you will be able to remember the number on this page 10 years from now? You may not have seen it, but there it is. He saw it out of the corner of his eye, so to speak. It may be so, but it probably wasn't, and it is, and may never be important to you. But can you remember the name of that attractive person you met at dinner last week? When he heard the name for the first time, hearing it was an event. All you have to do is recreate the event around the name on your mental screen, as I have explained, and you will hear the name once again. Relax, get level, create the screen, experience the event. This would take 15 or 20 minutes, but we have another means, a kind of emergency method that will will instantly take you to a mental level where remembering information will be easier. This method involves the use of a simple activating mechanism that, once it becomes truly yours, improves in effectiveness as you use it. Making it yours will require several sessions of meditation to fully incorporate the procedure. Here's how easy it is. Simply put your thumb and first 2 fingers of each hand together, and your mind will instantly adjust deeply. Try it at one more level now, and nothing will happen. It is not yet an activating mechanism. To become one, step into the level and say to yourself, silently or out loud, "Whenever I join my fingers like this, now join them together. For a serious purpose, I will instantly reach my mental level to achieve whatever I want." Do this daily for a week or so, and always use the same words. Soon, there will be a strong association in your mind between the joining of the 3 fingers and instantly achieving an effective level of meditation. A few days later, perhaps when trying to remember something, be it a person's name, it does not come to mind. And the more you try to recall it, the more the name will resist coming. Here, the will is useless. Rather, it is a hindrance. Now relax. Realize that that name is in your memory, and that you have a means to activate the memory. A 4th grade teacher in Denver uses the mental screen and the 3-finger technique to teach spelling. Covers about 20 words a week. To test the children, instead of going from word to word and asking them for the correct spelling, ask them to write down all the words they studied that week. They remember the words and the way to write them. With their 3 fingers together, seeing them on their mental screen. The slowest ones, she says, take about 15 minutes with the test. Using the same technique, she teaches these 4th graders the multiplication tables up to 12. In 2 months, they learn what normally requires an entire school year. Tira Masters, the university student and taxi driver mentioned in the previous chapter, frequently picks up passengers who wish to travel to addresses in neighboring towns, which he has not been to in a long time, and his memory of the way reaching them has become vague. Not many hurried passengers would show patience if he started meditating before leaving, but with his 3 fingers together, he relives the last time he went there. Before taking the mind control course, Tim's grades at the New York Institute of Technology were an A, and all others were Bs. "Now I'm a wise man, a B and all the rest A's," he reports. He uses accelerated learning when he studies, more on this in the next chapter, and solves his exams with his 3 fingers together. There are other uses for this 3-finger technique, and you will read about them later. We use it in several ways that are unusual. This is something that has been found in other meditative disciplines for many centuries. The next time you admire a painting or sculpture of a person from the Far East, a yogi cross-legged in meditation, notice that the 3 fingers of his hands are joined together in a similar way. Watch more videos of the Silva Mind Control Method on our Planet Alibro channel.